This is Angela with Peninsula School District here to show you some problem solving and tricks and tips with your Chromebook. So the first thing I wanted to show you is if you ever need to, there is a way that you can do a forced shutdown on your Chromebook if it has trouble shutting down on its own or logging you off. If you ever need to, you can hit the fourth key in, which looks like a little refresh symbol, and the power button way over on the right, upper right. So the fourth key on the top and the furthest key on the top, the power key. Simultaneously, do those two keys together, and it will do a forced reboot for your Chromebook. So that's the first tip. Second tip is about your control panel on your Chromebook. Now, know that Peninsula School District Chromebooks are all managed by Peninsula School District. So there are some things in the control panel for Chromebooks and the settings that you won't be able to change because Peninsula School District has set those for us. But a lot of the things you can change, and a lot of the things kids sometimes accidentally change with a keystroke, a combination keystroke, without even knowing that they're doing it, and then they can't resolve their problems. So I'm going to give you a couple of ideas on how to change the settings and resolve problems if you need to. So on the bottom right of any person's Chromebook is a little oval shaped item, then that's the access to the control panel. If you click it once, you will see your control panel. And right here, you usually get a lot of good information just on the panel itself. You get what network you're connected to. You get whether or not you have Bluetooth on or off. You have access to whether or not you want to turn a night light on that illustrates the reverse lighting for evening. You can control your volume, and you can also control the brightness of your screen. So right on the control panel, you get a lot of good information. You also see the date. If you have a full battery, there it says managed because these are managed by Peninsula School District. And you have a power button. You can sign out if perchance you're sharing your Chromebook with a sibling. That's a really good button to use if you need to log on and off of your Chromebook to allow your sibling to log on. But the next thing I want to show you is this settings button right here on the gear button. This settings button is great if you want to change settings more and or investigate things that have gone a little quirky or a little wrong. So I'm going to click that gear button, and what loads is the general settings for your Chromebook. And you can go to different categories over here to begin your search, or you can just start searching by typing in something. I'm going to click device first, and I am going to click touchpad or type touchpad. Now, you can just click on it too, either way. But the touchpad is a good one for you to know about because if you're not using a mouse, and by the way, you can plug in a personal mouse if you want to, or use a Bluetooth mouse. But if you're using the touchpad, you can adjust things here to make it better for you, the user. So know that you can change things here to increase the speed of the touchpad, or reverse the scrolling. If you're a Mac user and you usually go the opposite way, you could reverse it right here. You can allow the item to tap drag, and you can enable tap to click, which I have enabled. So there are some things you can adjust for the touchpad. Another thing that you might want to know about is I'm going to type in rotation up in the search bar. And I'm going to click on display rotation. So what happens sometimes, students will accidentally rotate their Chromebook display. So it's either 90 degrees or completely upside down. And so know that you, the parent or the student, could come in here and pick 0 default to get it back to normal. So do know that this is here if perchance you had a student or a child accidentally or intentionally rotate the screen in the wrong direction. Another one that I would like to share with you is language. If you just type language in the search bar and then click languages and input, you will get the ability to add languages, and you can even adjust which language is the default language, all right here in both the Chromebook overall and in the keyboard, how you use the keyboard. So you can change things right here for your languages. Another one is display. We were already on it when I typed rotation, but if there's any vision problems, you could enlarge the size and display of the windows and the fonts and the items to make it easier, if need be, for different vision needs. So know that's there also. So just get familiar with your settings and see if you have the right person logged in. You can click people. If you're connected to the right network, you can click network. Of course, most of you will be connected to a PSD open or closed if you're at school. But if you're at a remote location like your home, you'll be connecting it to your own personal Wi-Fi. So there are just some of the things you can do in settings to make adjustments or to problem solve issues. Okay, so let's talk about clearing cache. When you're in your Chrome browser, and it can be you're in on any page, here we are on the PSD portal, you can go to the 3 dots more up in the upper right and go more tools and go, and go clear browsing data. And what will load is the ability for you to clean your memory off of your Chrome browser in your Chromebook. And why you would ever want to do that is for a couple of reasons. One reason that we're seeing a lot in this remote learning world is that sometimes siblings are sharing devices. And by the way, you can do this on your own personal computer or laptop too. And if you have 2 kiddos that are Peninsula School District students and you're both logging into the same browser, it might be getting confused who you are. And it could also be confusing you with your personal Gmail account or a parent's Gmail account or a sibling's edtools Gmail account. So this is how you could clear your cache and start fresh in a way. The other reason why you would want to clear your cache is if you were having trouble logging into a website or it was remembering something that you didn't want it to remember. It's always good to come in here once a week, at least once a month, and clear your cache. So when I come into it, I say all time. So you might have to hit the advanced tab, but I hit all time. And I always do cookies and cached images. You can choose whether or not to do passwords and autofill, but always do cookies and cached images, I would suggest. And then you can hit clear data. And it will kind of clean your browser, your Chrome browser. So that's a very good tip for Chromebooks and for personal regular computers and laptops. Okay, next tip. Extensions. Extensions are neat little application tools that one can install on their Chrome browser, and they show up here. And if I install extensions, they are associated with the user. So right now I'm logged in as a demo student, high school student. So any device I log into, these extensions will pop up because they're installed specifically for high school student. So know that they show up right here. But also there's this puzzle piece. About 6 months ago, this started showing up. Chrome made it. And basically it just allows you to see what extensions you have enabled. Those are not all my installed extensions. I'll show you that in a moment. But they're all my enabled ones. And then it also shows me which ones I've pinned to show up. So let's just pretend to unpin my simple audio recorder. I'm going to unpin it, and now you see it disappeared from here. I'm going to repin it, and now you see it show up again. So that's how, if a student wants to have them show up, they have to pin them. Now, let's talk about extensions from another perspective. If your Chromebook starts to act quirky and or malfunction, think to yourself, have I installed any extensions recently? Because if you have, they might be causing a problem. Not all extensions are created equally. And so we strongly suggest that you come up here to the 3 dots more and go more tools, extensions. And what happens is your page of extensions loads. And again, this is high school student, but look at how many high school student has. I mean, he's got more than what's showing up, right? Because some of them are enabled and some of them are disabled. If they're enabled, they look blue like this button. If they're disabled, they look gray like this one. So it all depends upon if you've turned them on or off. So please know that that's how that works. Now, what we recommend is if your Chromebook starts acting quirky, we recommend you just turn it off. Like just a moment ago, I pinned it so it would show up and I unpinned it. But right now I'm actually going to disable simple audio recorder. So it's not even going to function anymore. It is still installed on my account. So that's good, but it's now disabled. And then what I would do is I would use my Chromebook for 2 or 3 days and see if it's behaving better, if it's got less problems. And then I could be pretty well assured, if it is behaving better, that indeed it was my simple audio recorder, and I would either leave it disabled or I would remove it completely by hitting that remove button. And so one strategy for this is, if you're a person that went crazy on your extensions and installed a lot of them, I would almost say turn them all off, disable them all, and add one back and play with it for 2 or 3 days, your Chromebook, and see if it functions better. And if it does, then go and add one more back and play with that for a few days and slowly re-enable your extensions to kind of do a process of elimination to see which one it is that's the bad extension that's causing it to go bad. I would also love it if you would let us know by emailing servicecentral@psd401.net. If you discovered a really bad extension, it would be great for you to email us and let us know which ones are bad. Okay, so the last tip that I have for you has to do with Schoology and Google. So I'm going to go into Schoology, and how you do that is by being on the top button called Student Core Tools and clicking Schoology. And if you ever are having a hard time submitting an assignment or having something be connected to your Google files, sometimes your Google account becomes disconnected from Schoology, and this is how you fix it. Okay, so I'm going to go into a course, and I'm going to go into an assignment and hit Submit Assignment and show you how to make this happen. Now, this is in a lot of different places. This just isn't in materials and assignments. You can get disconnected from your Google account in Schoology in a few different places, but I'm going to show you in the assignment spot how to fix this. So everybody, I am going to click Resubmit, even though he's resubmitted this a few times. I'm going to hit Resubmit Assignment. And I'm going to hit resources because that's where you go to connect to your Google Drive. It's an app. Google Drive is an actual app in Schoology, so I'm going to hit apps. It's the only app high school student has ever installed in his account. So there you go. Now it looks like it's connected because it's finding all of high school students stuff. But I'm going to go options, account settings. So take note of this because if you ever have an issue happen where you're sharing a device with a sibling and all of a sudden it's not connecting to your account or it's connecting to a parent's Gmail account or something like that, you might have to come in here and actually, play with this. But of course, you want it to be your school account, your edtools account, and you might have to hit log out right here. In fact, let's do it. I'm going to hit log out and log out all the way. So now my Schoology account does not know. Well, it looks like it came back to all of his stuff. Let's go in there and see. I'm going to hit connect just to make sure it's connecting to the right account. I am going to click my edtools account or high school students edtools account, and I'm going to hit allow. So now, again, it's going to search all of his Google Drive folder, and these are all of his Google Drive files, and he can search for them that way, or he can type in something that he recently did and search for it that way. So he can turn in just a graphic image to his teacher by putting a check mark in it and going import file, or a Google slide deck or Google Doc or whatever the case may be. So that is how you can reconnect your account in Google Drive with that of Schoology. And sometimes they get disconnected randomly, but most often it's because somebody on your Chromebook or somebody on your computer device has logged into their Gmail account and it's conflicting with your edtools account, and you've got to just reestablish that relationship between your Google Drive account, edtools account, and Schoology. Okay, I think that's it for my tips and tricks on problem-solving Chromebooks. And if you have any questions or concerns, please let us know at servicecentral@psd401.net. Thanks. Bye.